All right, for this lesson, we're going to be talking about transformations and congruence. Transformations in the plane, like a coordinate plane, move and change a figure to produce a new figure. When you hear the word rigid motion, you need to think this is a transformation that preserves the shape. So the object that it's moving doesn't change. So if it's a triangle, even if it spins around and does a backflip, it's still a triangle at the end of it, okay? Two figures are considered congruent if all the corresponding sides and angles are congruent. That's what we learned the other day. So if you look at the key concept, you can see what a translation is. And this word will catch you because a translation is a type of transformation. Those two words sound so similar, it took a little bit sometimes. So translation, you see it just moves on the graph a little bit. Reflection, it reflects across an axis, like across the x-axis or the y-axis usually. And then a rotation, you have a point and it rotates around that point. Okay, and we're going to go into detail on these, but those are the three basic transformations you're going to learn about. So, let's look at example 1. All right, so for this example, we are to describe the type of transformation you can use to move the blue figure onto the red figure. So if you're following along, here's the blue figure and it's moving to the red figure. Out of the three options we gave you, what type of transformation is that?
Translation. Rotation.
It's a rotation because you see it's rotating around a single point. That's a key when you see that point and it has lines drawing. So this would be considered a rotation. Now they'll go into detail and say it's a rotation and then they'll tell you the point, which is P. When I grade it, I just want you to tell me it's a rotation. I don't know that I care about what it's rotating about. Okay, for B, we have two transformations here. So what's the first transformation?
Translation.
Yeah, it moves from the blue to green, that's a translation. And then from green to red would be a reflection. Make sense? All right, let's look at example 2. All right, so for this example, they want you to explain why figure A and figure B are not congruent. So, and the way you do that is tell me what two transformations they did and then why it doesn't work. So looking at A, how am I going to get it to the B position?
Reflection.
A reflection eventually, but we first got to get it over to right above B. So first we would do a translation. And then to get to B becomes a reflection. But if I were to reflect that A, what do you notice about this angle compared to this angle? Look at it closely. This is a much taller side, isn't it, than this side? So this angle is much steeper. This is a very flat house. And this is a very tall house. Okay, so because the two transformations don't work, then the figures are not congruent. Make sense? Good. All right, let's look at example 3. This is a pretty quick lesson, and then you guys will really like the IXL tomorrow. Yep, you fly through it. Tomorrow's Friday. All right, so we have a quilt. I have made one quilt in my lifetime. We're going to describe the transformation that moves figure A to B, so this one up here first, and then we're going to explain why figures C and D are congruent. So let's do A first. So what kind of transformation moves figure A onto figure B? Translation. Iso, do you agree? You're the only one that didn't yell it out. Then yes, all three of you are correct. All right, C and D are, first of all, are these two shapes congruent? Yes. Why?
They got all the lines.
That is the short way to say that. All sides and angles are congruent. I like that better. They got all the lines. It doesn't ask us this, but what kind of translation is that? So it's a tricky one.
Reflected.
It is.
And then moved it over.
It's a reflection across the diagonal. That's a terrible diagonal line, but you understood what I was trying to get at. Yeah, good job. Well, it's a reflection and a rotation, isn't it?
Yeah, they reflected it and then they moved it over to the right.
Yeah. Maybe that's why they didn't have me tell you what it was, because it's a little tricky. All right, so you've answered B. Good. Let's do a couple of these guided practice, just to make sure.
It's a reflection.
Okay, don't read these answers real fast. Don't look up
I
here.
was reading the one from
Oh my goodness, Mr. Johnson is going nuts over there. All right, so tell me what translations happen for number 1.
And to T1, the translation.
Oh, I said translation, didn't I? See, I mess them up. What transformation? It's a translation, and then
the reflection.
look at it closely. What do you see here?
I don't know
Right
what
there,
that
right?
was called.
Rotation. All right, so number 2, from here to here is what?
Oh, we're looking at different ones.
Oh yeah, look up here. Number 2, what's the first thing that happens?
Translation
Translation,
and reflection.
and then reflection. Very good. Good. All right, you guys feel like you understand transformations? So I messed up that word. And then congruence makes sense to you, whether something's congruent or not, and how to identify that? Good. Short lesson, number 3 through 15. That is it for today.